With the Rugby Championship having come to an end, and of course the Springboks becoming back-to-back Rugby champions, we now get a chance to dive into the URC and really enjoy what has been happening there. I mean, some of you might not know, but the URC actually started a couple of weeks ago in terms of the matches. But it's just we didn't get a chance to zoom in on it, of course, because the Rugby Championship was taking place. I mean, with New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, Argentina playing, you can imagine the attention is mostly on that. But I think now some of those star players, in South Africa and in Argentina particularly, are going back to their clubs and have gone back to their clubs. And I mean, you can even see it in their performances, So today we're going to get to see, I mean, what better match than to start off with than the Stormers as well as Scarlet. Stormers have done it. They have defeated Scarlets in a decisive manner. I mean, I think if there was any doubt about the Stormers' intentions, they made it quite clear about what they want to achieve in this tournament. So at least for this coming month, we're going to get a taste of that URC before the BOK year-end tour, in Europe. So yeah, really, let's dive in. I mean, I would say it was quite a one-way momentum, one-way street. The Stormers dominated in all parts of the game. There wasn't really a time where I could say Scarlets were like in the game. Of course, they put up a fight, particularly in the first half. But by halftime, going into halftime, it was already 17-0. So they were already in the back foot. Of course, the Stormers got a boost, with the return of some of their key players, such as Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu, as well as Damian Willemse. So that was a huge boost, for them. And you saw it. You saw it in the game, So yeah, and I mean, even just in the second half, you got to see a continuation of that, with unanswered tries. I think it was 2 or 3 unanswered tries that came from the Stormers. And it was almost as though Scarlets, gave up. Typically when a team is behind, and say the game gets to the 80th minute and the team that's behind has the ball, typically they'll still try and, get at least something, even if it's 3 points, even if it's, 7 points. But they will try and get something, even if it's after the 80th mark. But you saw in this game, Scarlets actually kicked the ball out. They actually kicked the ball out, and the commentator rightly described it as Scarlets are throwing in the towel, and that really says a lot. That really says a lot about how the game went. I mean, Scarlets is a good team, but I just think they were completely dominated in this game. One talking point, though, that came out of this game that we really cannot go past, and I'm seeing it online every time I see highlights of this match, is there was a lot of criticism for Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu, and I think a lot of people were particularly highlighting 3 things, and going through the comments, seeing the reactions. A lot of people were saying that Sacha seems to be growing a big ego. Said that every moment doesn't have to be a highlight reel, so almost as though he's continually trying to shine in every moment or get a highlight reel in every moment, and really just trying to say he's getting big-headed. That's ultimately what they were saying, and also just speaking about his discipline. And I will say though, Sacha is of course, we love Sacha. I love Sacha, and in my videos, if you've been watching my videos, you'll see I always show love to Sacha. I mean, he's been doing very well, but I would say probably in this game, although the Stormers did play well and although the Stormers won decisively, probably some of the criticism was warranted, in a sense that there were times where it maybe looked like it could be just a normal moment, but he seemed to be looking for something a bit better, which I think you can't fault him, really. You can't fault him for that, because that's kind of why we like him, that's kind of why we like him. He's a very talented player, he's a very talented player. He's got crazy skills, but I think the heart of people, they were kind of saying, look, keep your head to the ground, stay focused, I think that's where people were coming from. I don't think people genuinely, are now turning against Sacha. No, I just think Sacha has come onto the scene and really grabbed the opportunity in both hands and really is just shining bright, and obviously the bigger you get, the more magnified even your faults get, it's not just your wins, so I will say, look, perhaps, okay, there was an incident in I think the 51st minute, where he got yellow carded because, he got involved in a fight, but at the same time, how many rugby players get involved in a fight? Tons, it's a physical sport, and also something to take note of is that Sacha is only 23 years old. He's only 23 years old. He's got the maturity of somebody older. He's you can see he's a leader, you can see he's focused, but he's only 23 years old, so he's bound to make mistakes, but I think people are really just saying, look, calm down, like keep your head to the ground, and I think people are well-meaning, so yeah, we take that with a pinch of salt, and I'm sure he'll make the necessary adjustments. But I think for me it was just an interesting lesson to see how quickly you can be supported, but at the same time, like if you make a mistake, especially after people have identified you as a star, it gets highlighted a whole lot more. It can really turn, but I don't think he should take that to heart. You're not always going to have great games, some games are going to be good, some games are going to be bad, but overall I think an impressive performance by everyone, and even Sacha, game wise, I think he had a decent game, apart from some of the errors. And we love Sacha, we're rooting for Sacha, we believe in Sacha, and we know he'll only get better from there, and I think, in the next 3 weeks that he's with the Stormers, I'm not sure if he's going to be there the whole 3 weeks, because obviously the tour is coming up, and the Springboks will probably need to go into camp and start practicing, etc. But in the time that he's in the Stormers, I think we're definitely going to see his impact. We're definitely going to see Damian Willemse's impact, and just some of the other Springboks players that are boosting the Stormers. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think about Sacha? The commentator described him as our golden child, and I think that's really quite accurate. But let me know what you think about his performance, about the Stormers' performance. Would love to hear from you. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel quite a lot. I'll see you in the next video.